Hi everyone, Quiveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. In today's video, we will be taking a look at galaxies, a particular focus on a particular type of deep sky object. So deep sky objects are those objects that are outside our solar system, in this case, outside of our galaxy. We will see the Milky Way, but we'll be concentrating on other galaxies outside of our own. If you're interested in the other deep sky objects, there is a previous video on this YouTube channel which goes through them in detail. We're taking a look here at the end of November to bring up the full moon. So we're here on the 27th of November, the next full moon we're going to get just at the end of the month. And if we take a close look here, there it is, the moon's lovely and full. If you catch the full moon rising as the sun is setting, you might get a little bit of an orangey glow from the moon thanks to the orangey glow of sunset. There's the Sea of Tranquility, nice and big. If you'd like to learn more about the moon, well, there's a YouTube video about the moon on this YouTube channel as well, so you can take a look back at that for a refresher if you'd like. The reason I have the full moon in the sky is because it will affect our view. I'd like to show the difference between a night in the countryside with the full moon and without the full moon. We will be looking for galaxies, and we'll start with the Andromeda Galaxy, our closest neighbour. The constellation of Andromeda is just up here, and you can find it by looking for the square of Pegasus up over the south as we get into nighttime over the next few days, over the next few months really. You can take a look back at some previous videos to learn more about those constellations. But for now, this is Cassiopeia, down here is Andromeda, and the Andromeda Galaxy is right in between them. We won't see that in the city. Of course, in the city, we don't even see our own Milky Way, our own galaxy, which should be stretching from the west through the Summer Triangle and through the W of Cassiopeia. If we move into the countryside and get rid of all of the light pollution that we suffer from here in the city, of course, we will get to see a lot more. And if we take a look into the west, there's a little bit of a glow for the Milky Way. It is much harder to see over here on the same side of the sky as the moon, and the glow of the Andromeda Galaxy, which should be just up there. You might see it faintly, but it is practically invisible on a moonlit night. Because the moon is full, we can't just wait for it to set. The moon won't set until the sun is rising. So we'll have to move forward a few days into early December, but really any time that there's no full moon in the sky. If you're close to the new moon or even first quarter or last quarter moon, as long as the moon is set when you're in the countryside, you could get a view like this if you are far enough away from light pollution. We can certainly see the glow of our Milky Way galaxy here. The core of the Milky Way would be just under the western horizon. We can see it stretching across the sky. And right there, in between the W of Cassiopeia and this shape of Andromeda, there is the Andromeda Galaxy. That is another galaxy outside our Milky Way. And we can see it, well, for a couple of reasons. It is big. Galaxies are big. There's about 1 trillion stars packed into this space here. It is 2.5 million light years away. Now, 2.5 million light years sounds far, and it is far, but it's close for galaxies. This is our closest neighboring galaxy, our closest large neighbor, at least. The Andromeda Galaxy is similar in size to the Milky Way. Smaller dwarf galaxies also exist. They often orbit larger galaxies, and there are dwarf galaxies orbiting the Milky Way. But our closest large neighbor, comparable to our size, is Andromeda. We can see that it's got this bluishy white color all around the edges and more of a kind of a reddishy brown color, due partly to different distributions of gas and dust. There's a lot more gas and dust in the disk of the galaxy and around the center. A lot of the blue color we're seeing is the light of bright young stars. Spiral galaxies with this spiral shape, like the Andromeda Galaxy and the Milky Way, they are still producing new stars. And if we pull back and look at our galaxy, we can see a similar effect. We've got this kind of brownishy reddish color down towards the core, and we have this nice pale bluishy white color stretching out towards the arms of the galaxy. You can also see that our galaxy goes from thinner at the edges to thicker in the middle, and that's something we see it having in common with other spiral galaxies. Now, the Andromeda Galaxy is our closest neighbor and the only one we can really see with the naked eye. But there is another galaxy, another close neighbor of ours, that is on the edge of visibility, just down here. So let's take a closer look until it starts looking like a galaxy. There we go. And almost a slightly better view than the Andromeda Galaxy. We can really see those spiral arms here looking at the Triangulum Galaxy. So let's bring up our names. Here we go. There we go, the triangulum pinwheel galaxy M33. Different galaxies, a lot of them have these M numbers, which can help you catalog them. We'll talk about the M numbers or the Messier catalog in a future video. But for now, we'll concentrate on the galaxies. This is the Triangulum galaxy. The Triangulum galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy are quite close together. They form one side of the local group, the other side being the Milky Way. The Andromeda galaxy and the Milky Way are slowly getting closer together, and eventually we will collide. The Triangulum galaxy might join in a little bit later. There are a lot of galaxies in the sky. You can see a lot of different circles for deep sky objects there. But as we're concentrating on galaxies and particularly finding some galaxies in the sky, we're going to ignore those and use the constellations to find galaxies in the sky instead. So we already found Andromeda. The Triangulum galaxy is pretty hard to find, but it is quite near the Andromeda galaxy. Some easier to find galaxies can be found around the Plough or the Big Dipper. So I'm going to bring us into a reasonable enough time of the night and make sure that the moon is still out of the way. I think it's after coming up there. There it is. We'll move further into December and we'll take a look just here around the bottom of the Plough, the bottom or handle of the Plough or the Big Dipper. So taking a closer look, we're already starting to see some fuzzy shapes here. And those fuzzy shapes are other galaxies. There is a group over here, the Ursa Major group of galaxies. And we're going to take a look here at the Whirlpool galaxy. So the Whirlpool galaxy, also known as Ross's galaxy M51. This is a grand design spiral galaxy where we can really see the shape of those arms coming out from the galactic core. And we can see this smaller galaxy getting swallowed up. So that is a dwarf galaxy that the Whirlpool galaxy is consuming. A little bit of trivia about the Whirlpool galaxy is that it was the first galaxy ever to have its spiral shape described and drawn. The very first time we had a telescope big enough to see this much detail in a galaxy was in the 1800s with the Leviathan telescope in Birr in County Offaly, right here in Ireland. It was an Earl, the Earl of Ross. We can see Ross's galaxy up there. It was the Earl of Ross who first drew the Whirlpool galaxy using paper and charcoal to show the lovely shape. This is the Pinwheel galaxy. A lot of galaxies have these names evocative of their shape, like the sunflower or the pinwheel. Let's take a closer look in here. I know there's another galaxy hiding in here as well. Another one with a fantastic shape. That's the Sunflower galaxy. So these galaxies are normal spiral galaxies. And as I mentioned, the Milky Way and Andromeda are normal spiral galaxies as well. But they are going to collide, the Milky Way and the Andromeda galaxy. Now, I'm going to find another galaxy that's already starting to collide if I can. I'm looking for the constellation of Corvus the Crow. So hopefully, very close. That's Crater. And Corvus the Crow is just coming up there. Perfect. So there's Corvus the Crow under Crater. And here it is, two galaxies in the process of colliding. So these are known as the antennae galaxies. I know it just looks like one, but this is two galaxies crashing together and starting to fuse into one bigger galaxy. So when two galaxies collide, it's not particularly destructive. There aren't too many stars destroyed or broken apart. You really get a fusion of two galaxies into one bigger one, and this changes the shape. We're looking in the direction of Virgo now. We've moved over to the Virgo cluster of galaxies. Let's get rid of the pictures. We can see that there is a lot of galaxies over here, just loads and loads and loads of them. But we're looking for a particular type. So let's see. Here we go. That's a good example. This is certainly a lenticular looking galaxy, a galaxy that looks lens shaped. Let's see. Here we go. This is M59. There we go. And this is an elliptical or lenticular galaxy. It's a gigantic ball of stars. There's no arm structure here. There's no spiralness. This is what's left behind when two galaxies collide. When two spiral galaxies fuse together, they lose this lovely spiral shape, become blended into a giant ball of stars, a lenticular or elliptical galaxy. That's a little bit about galaxies and a few places in the sky where you can find them. The Virgo area over here, just in between Leo and Virgo, is particularly rich, so there's lots to see. You will, of course, need a telescope to see the vast majority of those things in the night sky, but I hope that you get a chance to find them. The ones around the Plough or the Big Dipper, of course, are visible all night long, every night of the year, if you're in the northern hemisphere. So we'll move a little bit forward to morning time, just to show the bright planet Venus still rising in the morning as we come into December, but that'll have to be the end for this video on galaxies. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to press the like button, and if you like this kind of astronomical content, then make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you'd like to read a little bit of this information, you can take a look at my website, queebeanscontent.ie. But coming back into the city and all of that light pollution, I hope you'll join me again next time.